EYI. Clock in at exactly 6:12 on this June 12th of 2022. EYI. EYI. Let's clock in at exactly 6:12 on this June 12th of 2022. Help us to spread, or should we say share the wealth? AATW all around the world. It's time for that. EYI. Make sure that we put on today. I want to put it right out there for you to see what a 612 looks like. Put it right out there for you to see exactly what a 612 looks like. In the light of the Bible. Let's show you what a 612 really looked like. And yes, this is the perfect timing of the perfect timing of the 1222. But something is happening in the place of the spirit that is bringing box 6 on board during this time. Now, for some of you, you might remember how the Lord said unto a servant that this year, well, actually you'd have to have been with us, June the 6th of 2022, when we had the 6-6 and we had the 2022. You'd have to have been there to see what the light of that. And it was during that time that the Lord spoke to his servant to see this 2022 like the year 2006. That's what it was, 2006. So that brought on, that's the reason, or that's the light to why Bop 6, which is a big bop. Now, do not forget, we'll show it to you later, the big bop. But this right here is just something you can see to make your life easy. And that's those that bop with us. And you are covenant. So I want to get it as centered as we can. You bop with us, and you're right there. You are the ones that says it's up to you if you pursue. So you're right there to understand that, and the only ones that didn't understand that is the ones, like we said, aren't bop. They're not bopping with us. But that being said, if you can hear us well in the spirit, we'll leave this over here for now. That is what a 612 in the bop looks like. And we're going to take a moment on this today to bring this into the homeland of the bop, which is Orlando. You all know that. Those that are within, we don't want to do the hug yet, but you're just that close. All right, EYI. Help us to share that wealth and all so that you can get life to this. And it is something, we might need some backs. We might need a back on this one. Let's put a back on this one so it can be more sturdy. We thought we could get away without doing that. It look like we're going to need a back. Let's give this some more support. All right, that's the, all right, give that more support. EYI. Be sure to note that today is June the 12th. And oh, what a perfect timing of that June 12th. It came on a Sunday, which is the perfect, couldn't have asked for a perfect time. During the gathering of the nation of I Am. Couldn't have asked for a perfect time. Nation to nation. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to attempt to bop this out. I'm actually going to attempt to bop it out. Just that you might see that L-I-G-H-T. And someone showed me, and I did it before, you could literally switch it around. I just don't remember how they did it. It's like you could swap it around. And I just don't know how to do it so that you can read the writing as it from right to left. I think right now it might be going from left to right, but we'll see when we look back at the video. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm High Servant Mother Doris, founder of I Am Sit Me, builder of the storehouse. This is Gathering the Nation of I Am right here on that MD platform for light and life. Light is something you can see to make your life easy. We're sitting on day 612, which is the month, is the 6th month, and the day is the 12th day. And this is our part 4. Part 4, we've already begun to load this wall right here at this little bop over it. I Am Sent Me Wall of Salvation. Earlier today, we began to load up that 612. Those that really get that light know where it came from. And it come off the wall of that Mother Doris Authentic page. And we was doing something completely different. We was in that room of and for eternal hashtag lowercase L life. We were there. And then all of a sudden, in a room warmer, there come that light. And oh my goodness. And then if you look on this wall very carefully, today it's here, we literally had to scroll our own information. We had to scroll it and we kept going. Well, these are the words we used. We had to bop and keep bopping and keep bopping until we could find that 412. And it's here. So you can have something to kind of link together to see where all this is, came about. And so it's on this wall how that 412 became 612. And then, if you could hear us in light, how that 412 we had in that one post, it said to do the math. Well, we had to go back and kind of like give a little bit more assistance to that one post because we didn't want too many people actually doing the math. And then we would have all of these figures that we just don't like to deal with. And we know people aren't ready to redeem those numbers as to be a good number, even if we bopped it out with the bop. So we'll give you a little bit longer there, and hopefully we'll even pull that one particular video of the classroom, sitting in the classroom 2022. We'll pull it in for you to see the light even as we were seeing it that day, and let you know that it was at that time that God says, I'm going to use it to redeem man, and to redeem man back to God. And so we're at some powerful times, whether it looks like it or not. And I know, MD know that right now it's kind of draining. His servant feels it. No matter how prayed up we want to be, we feel the drain, we feel the pull, we feel the tugging and the struggles and all. We feel that, and it would be remiss of us to say that we don't feel it. We literally feel it. We feel it from those that are closest to us. We feel it, and then through the eyes of the Spirit, through the eyes of the Lord, we also can see it. And so by stopping by opening up where we are to go AATW all around the world, and then to release that light, we're hoping that the eyes of his people, my people, thy people, you understand, the people will be open to hear and to see light like they've never seen it before. And we know when we break it up and we say, the people, his people, my people, thy people, a people in general, we know that people, listen to this, people are on different levels. They're on different levels, and you'd have to be with us in that room just a few nights ago to see how we had to come to grips with that so we could keep moving and keep growing and keep going in the place of the Spirit, which from day one, those, here it come, that get within the arm reach and a hug, it's beyond. And so in the light of that, we have things that right now, and if you could hear us well, it started out with us from the very beginning of this year, 2022, that it was going to be things that literally blow our minds. And MD don't know about some of you, but to personally channel in on that and to even high-five that thing. I mean, there's been some things that's happened this year that literally have blew. I'm telling you, if it was a lid on the top of his servant head, it was a just blew it right on off. But nevertheless, if we could get it to you like this, because it's Light. There are just some days. I mean, some days. There are just some days you're just going to have to, like, deep breath it, and like, lift your hands and like you're not surrendering, but just release it and let some things go. Just for you to have what we teach, what the Lord has given unto us, is that REST. Of course, we're not there yet. It's more towards the end of the month where we have those 7 days. But there's so much happening that it's very, very easy to be drawn in, to be sucked in, to be pulled in. Even in your resistance, like, I know where this is going. Yet, you understand, because some of the love that some of us have towards mankind, in general, we're just going to peek in, we're just going to check it out. And then next day you kind of regret that you did. But just take a moment. And all, I know MD could come in here and thus said the Lord, and just be going in it. But like we said, if you want to see MD in those preaching days, they're out there. It's on YouTube, and you can visit any of our 4 walls, and you can see we really go in it, and we get at it sometimes. But right now, with everything going on in the world, our ears must be very sensitive to the will of God, you see, and what the will of God will have for his servant and those that the life of his servant is to touch. And so, you might not get all of that. Like we looked here recently, we can't even remember the last day, even in the classroom, that we used a classic cassette, a chosen dialogue, and we haven't even reached the virtuous healing silence yet. And so just for this moment, we're like taking not a nap, we're not asleep, we're wide awoke, but we're just like soaking in the very presence of the Lord, and knowing that all things, we were there on the other night, they work together. All things work together for good. And so right now, this month, can you believe it? We are in the 6th month already. And not just the 6th month, but the 12th day. Now, when we take this moment today, and we ease into what's over his servant's shoulder and above his servant head, it's for a reason. Basically, because we are halfway through. We're like on the chopping board, chop, 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 chop. And we chop, 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 all the way to the 6th month. And if you kind of like look to your left and to your right, you'll see that we're right in the middle of completion of this year. We're halfway there. So you know where we're going next. If you made it this far, get over the hump and let's come on and go to the end of this year. We're almost there. We're halfway there, to the point that we really have to go. We got to go. Somebody ought to say that. We got to go. We got to go. All right? This has been a phenomenon, you understand, way of looking at things in the sight of his servant. And that is that we're in, and Lord, they won't believe it. Lord, they won't believe it. But Lord, Light, right about here, we're in one of the biggest years of our life, and at the worst period of the time of life, things are happening in life. This is that, maybe, this is that 1 year where the Lord, with all of this that's going on, it looked like it's the roughest time of people's lives, and just like it, no getting up off of it. Somebody just had their feet on the metal, and they are all into it, you understand, and how much worse can it get? Well, here she come to say, here come that woman again, here come that woman again, And she's going to tell us that this is the light year. This, well, Mother, you mean to tell me all this is happening in this year, and you still saying it's the light year? Oh my Lord, if this is the light year, I can't even imagine what the other years is going to be like. But listen at this. If, and that's a strong if you can make it through this year, it's like you're going to see a reverse. Because what looks like it's supposed to be hard, the Lord is calling it light. So if you make it through what could be the hardest times of life, the worst time of life, you make it through, you really understand. You're going to really understand what this woman been talking about when she talk about light. Some people think that light is like something that just happens and, oh, it's just go somewhere and kick your feet up and, you understand, eat your cake and ice cream, put that cherry on top and everything like that, drink your favorite Coke or whatever it is. You know, and MD don't drink Coke, but you know y'all drink them sodas and things. So get your favorite drink and drink it. No, let me just tell you, light here. You got to understand when light comes, it's because something is hard. You see. And so, but if you can see it and you can believe that thing, then you're like, oh, no wonder light has to come. And light comes right at this year, 2022. Because what's coming after this year, 2023 and 2024, and we'll go another year, 3 years, to 2025, we as a believer, that is receiver, we have to see it now. You have to see it now. If it took us 22 years to get to this point called light, and then to be able to express that light all around the world, we can tell you that it just didn't pop up overnight. That we had to realize that all that long time of coming with light, that journey of light, and seeing the oppositions and seeing the things or the situations and circumstances that we literally was put in. And some of you heard his servant talk about knees clacking and nerves, like you know, and like you wanted to go, but instead you started speaking in the Holy Ghost. And if it wasn't for the Holy Ghost, some of us would have just literally done clicked by now or snapped or whatever. But yet we have a message out there called snap, crackle, pop. You understand? So don't ever think that it has not been, you know, difficult along the way. But it was through those difficult times that his servant realized something was in our corner. Something was working for us that we couldn't even quite put our little finger on it. Fingers all in the, but we still couldn't put our finger on it. And then when the worst of worst happened, then here come the Spirit, here come Lord Light to let us know it's been light that has been with you all through those years. You being able to see your way out of a situation that you know you weren't to come out of. That's light, you all. And so right now we're sitting in the 6th month. So you can do this when you get in that middle halfway mark. you can really do 2 things if you choose to. MD choose to just stand still, but some of you might choose to want to look to the left and, you know, look to the right, and some of you might even want to choose to go back, and then some of you might even want to choose to go beyond, keep going. You understand? But one thing we know is that we can't go back. We've come too far. Oh my goodness, to go back. And if we were to sing a song, and of course we're not, we would tell you that nobody told MD that the road would be easy. I don't know if they told you that. If they did, they lied. I got to get up out of here. They lied. Oh my goodness, they lied. They just absolutely did not tell you the truth. But if you knew that the walk with Christ would be a rewarding walk, even if you had to take some chances into the unknown. We're talking a little bit about ourselves right now, but whew, if we look into some of those things that we've come out of, let me just put it like this. You know how some folks say, well, you know, yeah, if you had to do it all over again, would you? And here come that lying tongue of some of y'all. Yeah, I'd do it all over again. And then you go like this. And but if you had, do something different, would you? Oh no, I'd do it the same way. What in the world? Who are they talking to? Oh, but you'll hear some of them say, no, I wouldn't do anything different. And I'm like, really? You honestly would say that? And some of them will stick to what they say, and they wouldn't do anything different. But I tell you, if we had to do it all over again, I'm gonna be straight and bold to you. I would tell you we wouldn't, and that's because, and we say it very proudly with the Spirit, is because we have that light, and because we have that light, we wouldn't want to do it all over again. And all we want to go and press towards that mark of the high calling that's in Christ Jesus our Lord. So that being said, we have over our shoulder, and it's been a while since we bopped with the bop, even during the gathering of the Nation of I Am. But it's so important that those that are coming on board and they're interested in I Am Sent Me, you're interested in the storehouse, you're interested in that right there, which is the blessing of promise, exactly all of what that means, and you want to find out what it does truly mean in your life. Sometimes we can bring people on, and we want to put it right here. We haven't said it for a very long time, but where we really like to bring people in is like around their birthdays. That's one of the, like a pet peeve of this sermon. It's like a commission from the Spirit. When we bring little children in, we bring them in as early as 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, because we want to grab that 2 and bring them in the covenant, because that's what 2 represent, is covenant. And so we found ourselves bringing several young children in at that time and bringing them under covenant. That being said, if you could hear, so it's pretty much we like to bring you in around your birthday kind of thing. Why is that? Because we consider the birthday to be, for us, when we're operating in the blessing of promise, we break it down in 4 different areas. One, when we do the birthday, you come in under the birthday, it is what we consider greater. Or great, that's the great move. The great move is the birthday. Then we have where it's just let me rewind that, because it's been a while and we don't want to mess that up. The great bop is the daily bop, like what you see right here, and you hear a servant say, today is like right here. The 6th represents the 6th month. The 12th represents the 12th day, and behind me is 2022. And that's the whole full year. That represents everything. The month, the day, and the year. All right, so that's our daily, give us our daily bread. So that's considered the great read. Then we have now what we talk about, which is the birthday. That's considered the greater read. That's when we read your birthday and what the light means for that. Then we have, after that, if we keep going, we have the greatest read, which is when you see us bring in that setup of peace, no more, no more, no more. So it's the 4 days already. It's the 17, 18, 19, and 20. So the bop stays like that, the bop, no S, stays like that for 4 days. That's considered our greatest read. And last but not least, because there's 4 of them, we have the greatness. So we have a read that's called the greatness read. And that one is all about that FOR. So we bring in all of the FOR that is in a combination of the bop. And we bring that in. That's for greatness, because it has 4. Even when things are working against you, when you really come to that level, that place in the bop, even if it's working against you, it's got to turn around for your good. That's where we work that bop there. And so we really like, first of all, if we could rewind that a little bit, we really like bringing you in where you can understand how the bop moves. When you know how the bop moves, then you can move in under the bop and all. And so certain days will come up, and if we're not even doing the bop, you know how to bop with that day because, well, you've been bopping with us for a good minute or two. So that being said, like we said, there's the great, greater, greatest, and greatness. And so we really do, when we see that you're on board and you know how that come in, you know, you just don't come to a place called the blessing of promise without covenant first. So before we could even get to Isaiah 61 through 22, we had to go by way of Isaiah 59 and 21, and that is the covenant. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Lord. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I've put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith the Lord. So that's how you get here. And then when you become covenant and all, and you know what covenant really does represent, the light of that, then the next thing would be right into the bop, which is the blessing of promise. And so on today, if his servant could have told you that we knew today was going to come like on a Sunday, we didn't know. We picked up on it on Friday night. Friday night, we saw the perfect timing, and it's like, oh my goodness, we can't let this moment pass us by. And so it's right with the 12, so we don't have to really move a lot of things around, but we have to bring in this number 6. And we're going to have to grab a hold of, I'm looking to see if it's going to leap out at us without moving a lot of things around and having to pull boxes to show you something. But we have a actual classic cassette. No, we're not going to play it today. But it's in the year 2006. And so in order to bring that blessing from 2006, that's why we pulled 3 more years, because when we put this out today, there is that blessing coming that's going to have 3 years in which it's going to do 2 things, increase and multiply. So that being said, all right, today we're going to connect it, and we're going to let you know that very shortly, before we come out of the 6th month, we would love to have your ears hear what happened in the year 2006. So we're going to pull that classic cassette, and we're going to hear what all happened in the year 2006. Let me just tell you, God, this is not LD, but it's the timing of God, the perfect timing of God for the believer that is a receiver. We won't miss anything. The thing that God truly has for you, that really has your name on it, you're not going to miss it. I thought about it the other day as we were out in the city, Feed in Action Go City. We thought about how this is the things that can happen. How the word would say, ye did run well. Who did hinder you? So we thought about, there are people that come, there are people literally that have been sent in this life of MD and in the life of you to just literally discourage you, disappoint you, you understand? Even try and make attempts to stop you. And although we know that they can't stop us, the word does not say that they can't hinder. You see. So you'll get people with no agenda, or little to none agenda, and those are the ones that see you thriving and going because you know where you're headed and what you are to reach in this lifetime of yours. They come to hinder. And so we thought about that question that says you did run well, who did hinder you? We had to make up our mind, we can't even let anyone hinder us. You see, because that's a process of slowing you down, or you understand, get it in the way and making you understand. And so when it's deliberate, we can't let them slow you down or hinder you in that way. And so right now, believe it or not, the bop, the blessing of promise, is literally, good God Almighty, I felt like running, but next thing you might see me on the other side of that screen, like, what in the world? But let me tell you something. The bop is literally lined up with the timing of God. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. And some of you know, I'm sure some of you have really been on board, like when we're doing something like this, and like even when we would grab a classic cassette or grab a chosen dialogue and not even knowing what's on there because it's been such a while. Pop that thing in and it's just like we're speaking it today. So what we're saying is this right here, we just start talking about 2006, and then all of a sudden we get a 6/12 on a nation period, because right now this is literally gathering the nation of I am. So you can see we didn't have to do too much moving. 12 is here, 22 is over here, so everything is in the place, and all is in alignment. I can stand like this and look like I'm touching both of them. That we're in alignment. But for this right here, and you could probably say, well, MD, you just talked this up. Really, we didn't. Not at all. In any manner whatsoever. But it's the perfect timing of God. Because if God didn't, we're going to go from side to side. If God didn't allow this to happen halfway through this June month, you understand? Some folks in the year 2006, right, would never receive a blessing that looked like they missed. So in the perfect timing of God, the perfect will of God, because sometimes you get in things, but it's not the perfect will of God. You can just be in things, and even though you're expecting the best to come out of it, if it is not the perfect will of God or the perfect timing of God, it's like hit and miss. Oh, I'm going to tell you something today. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Oh, my goodness. But before we do, and we go over here, because I'm sure you're going to help me read it, because that's where we're going to close when we do finish up with this today, of course, aside from dropping that net. Because it looked like we done picked on you long enough, played with this for about a minute or two, because, LD can't tell you what everybody else is saying. I'm sure you know that by now. I'm going to stick with the blessing of promise that they've been good to his servant for 23 years, and now we're having an opportunity to send an AATW all around the world, so we're just ecstatic over that thing. We're just so excited. I'm looking at 23 right there too. It's beautiful. But that being said, hear us well. So we can ease over there and we can read it together and receive this blessing that is upon today and every day. If we can't say what everybody else is saying, mostly everybody else is saying, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor you're next. And so you've been telling them you're next. You're next. You're next. You understand? I've been telling them you're next for years. You understand? And those that, here it come again, that get within that arm reach and a hug, that really are inside the storehouse, if not you're making your way. Those that really, if you don't see the full light, you're starting to see a little bit of light. And it's pushing you towards wanting to see the fullness of light and not be blind dead. If we can't use the word best, because so many say, oh, he's saving the best for last, and he's saving the best for last. We can't do that either. It sounds good. It's beautiful. It really does. But if we, his servant, Mother Doris, MD, I am sent me the storehouse, the blessing of promise. Now I'm going to AATW all around the world for you to see the Shabbat. All right? Listen to this. If we can't use, he's saving the best for last, and you're next kind of thing, what is it that we have to use? Well, let me just give you my little testimony, and then we'll go back there and we'll read it and make it official, the blessing of promise upon this day. 6/12, all All right, 6:12. I hope somebody clocked us in at 6:12 because we've been going for a good little minute. All right, so we're about to conclude. My testimony is we went to the favorite P.O. Box 683165, Orlando, Florida 32868-3165. We went there yesterday, right? And I know you know I have a yoke. I have one. I got to destroy it. All for the glory and honor of God. Just got to do it. And do it with a big old smile on MD's face. Nothing but love. It's all in love. And we ought to be able to correct in love. We ought to be able to, say things in love. And people pick up on it in love, I just love that MD just tell the truth. I just love she just get to the point of things. Okay, so MD go to that favorite spot, that P.O. box. And I was like, Lord, I really hope this is a truthful moment. And kind of went out of my way a couple of times because normally it's just like 2 visits to that postal, in a week's time. Sometimes it's just one, depending on how close we are to the area. So MD, all right, I'm gonna go one more time. So MD went to that postal on yesterday and get there and there it was, absolutely sitting inside of that postal. There it was, and yes, it come with the address of the bank this time. So, yes, it's there. And I've already laughed this off with my brother, so he won't take it too serious. I hope not, because we always, from a little teeny, brothers and sisters, we was like always having to duke it out. He always lose, but I duke it out with him. He might try to say it different now because he's older, but always duked it out to the end, always won. Better not go to sleep tonight, kind of thing, So I went up there to that I'm going one more time. Get there, and sure enough, it's in that favorite spot. And so MD grabbed it and all, and about to leave. And it's something about these stop signs here lately, that's why we're stopping by right here today with the 612. We're putting it on today. Because MD can't tell you that, can't tell you what everybody else is saying. He's saving the best for last, and you're next, you're next, you're next. Somebody already had that, so we have to let them have that. What is God speaking on the behalf of IL? So I always carry my letter opener, so pulled out my letter opener, opened it up. Boop, there it is. It's written correctly. No issues. It's correctly written. And I'm like, ooh. Of course, I had to be excited because, like I shared with him, I'm like, bruh, you've never given sis anything. I'm 60, you're 61, and I'm right on your heels, and I'll, in a few more days, MD will be 60. And I'm like, and bruh, I didn't call him bruh like that, but I'm like, called him by his name, And I shared with him, I'm like, and I went through the storehouse, from the times you were here. And I did find one envelope, it had $2 on it. My children got that funny saying about $2, when they really want to get the truth out of you, they're like $2, And I said, that's all I saw. And we have a history, and he knows the history we've had. And it's nothing like when you have a family member when everybody else turn your back on you, and yet there's this one family member that just keeps giving you chance after chance after chance. And so he's like, no, sis, I said what I said, you know, and I don't want to let God down, you know, kind of thing. So I said, all right. And that thing hit me, though. I'm telling you, MD just got to tell you, that thing hit me. That's why we can't ride and be on the piggyback of those that said he's saving the best for last. And you're next, because if we look at the ones that they say that God is saving the best for last, we look at who they're considering to be the best for last, we're like, God, is that all you got? Or if they go and say, you know, you next, and we see who they point to, we like, really, God? After all this that we've been through, you said they next? This is what's next? But this sort of blow your mind like it did his servant. I'm holding this, and it's for the 4,000. I'm like, okay. I'm really gonna run this one all the way to the limits. I'm gonna be talking about this till I can't talk about it no more. MD gonna just keep putting it out there. And for some of you, you're like, well, you know, that's not really a big deal, $1,000. Then look at everything you've done. But that to MD from $2 to $1,000, that's a big deal. That's huge for his servant. If you really knew what we were, could put all the pieces together for you to see. My business is my blessing, all right. And I'm still looking at it because I really got to grab a hold to this. Nah, this really can't be. You know, I'm talking from all these years. You understand? I mean, my brother's 61 and I'm almost 60, and this. So it's huge. It's really huge. And while I'm holding this, my testimony, y'all. This is MD testifying, so I can get over to that 612. I'm holding it in my hand, and I'm having a conversation with the Lord, like, you know, it can't be about you saving the best for last and your next. And then all of a sudden, the Spirit of the Lord spoke to his servant, my God Almighty, and said to me, because I know some of y'all out there, you're going to tell the truth one day, that you watch. It's not an envy bone in MD body anymore. I asked God to forgive me for envying Oprah, so I stopped envying Oprah a long time ago. And she was like the only one MD would say, honestly say, I envy, you know. And Lord really helped me through that, you understand? And I got over that one years ago, and you need to hear that testimony to bless you. But hear us in the wind. And we're so serious. Smile, be so serious. Holding that in his servant's hand. And the Lord said to me, that's right. After I brought it in the face of God, that's right. I want you to see. I want you to see who I've blessed. I'm looking at it, you understand? This is close to my brother now. I want you to see. This is the Spirit of God saying to us, I want you to see whom I have blessed. And now it's so close, it's in my hand, and it's as close as my brother, his servant brother. Lord have mercy. And the Lord said, as I see that it's as close as his servant brother, so you can see what they do with my blessing. Good God Almighty, that thing in my shoulder bone. So you can see, you're that close now that you get to see what they do with the blessing. And then you see, because now they said that God bless me. You're hearing them say, God bless me. And God bless me so that I don't have to worry about another day in my life or anything, because God bless me. And then here you are. I'm going to get some honest people sooner or later. Here you are still out there in the wind waiting. And some of the people that you see, they're using the word God. God bless me like this. Some of them folks done you wrong. They done lied on you. They done run your name in the mud. They have yet to apologize and say they sorry. They might have said, God forgive me, but you know how you're supposed to lay that gift down and go and you'll make that personal apology, apologize so that in the one that you done, done wrong, the one that you have that ought, you know how it's done. And so I'm like, this is who God let me see that they're saying, God bless me. This is the best for last, the next kind of thing. Okay, God. So you can see how close you are. That's what God said. So I just want you to see how close you are. And I want you to see that the ones that I'm blessing, we can look at them and like, how come, God? How in the world did they get it before we get it? And then the Lord says again, because I want you to see how close you are to the blessing. And then you get to see what they do with a blessing that they say, I bless them with. And then after the Lord gave me to look at that thing and I saw how close that we really truly are, then you know where we're going next with this. We've been saying this for a good minute. This is not anything new coming out of his servant mouth. But then the Lord began to share with his servant, that's why I said to you to tell thy people that we are the R-E-S-T. We are the righteous entering saved time. That means even the ones that done us wrong never came to say they sorry. It means that even when they get a blessing, they ain't going to be comfortable enough with it until they bless you anyhow. You understand what I'm saying? And that's their way of saying they sorry and they apologize. That's like their peace offering. It's like a peace offering. It's like you give it to God and say, God, I know they may never ever say they're sorry, so I'm going to give it to you. And God, I'm asking that you will forgive them for every wrong they've ever done to your servant and every lie they ever told. And every time they ran my name in the mud, I'm asking you, God, I'm standing as a petitioner on their behalf to forgive them. Because somebody will be honest too, because MD having an opportunity to enter into his rest on this side, don't want anything to mess that thing up. And so where we are, it's not the best, saving the best for last, or you're next, or we would have been all that before. But we are the R-E-S-T. And do you not know that there are others before us that couldn't even enter into his rest yet? MD was around that time in the year at our by 55, we were there. And then we started bringing it to you. But now look how close we've gotten. We're as close to his servant holding a $1,000 check from my very own brother. That's how close we truly are to see what people will do with the blessing that they say God gave them. And God said to his servant, I won't let them rest. I won't allow them to enjoy until they do right with what I've given them. And see, this is where we are right now. And it brings us to this moment where we're halfway there. We're halfway to the finishing of and the finishing up of a light year. And look at this. All this is happening in a light year. All them other years. Now we're talking since 1999. And now it just happened in the year 2022. And you don't see. You can't get it. It's because God is bringing all of that to light. And he's doing it this year. And look at this. We're halfway there with 6 more months to go. And we shared with you on Friday night what June, that 6th month, what the whole month would bring. Does anybody remember what we said June would be the month of what? Anybody said it? Did anybody get it? If nobody get it and don't print it there, I'll come back and I'll put it right about now. What God gave to us, we've been wrote it back in February of this month of what God showed us to. He gave us the whole entire year, what each month of that year would bring. And on Friday, we released to you, I see it, Thank you, sweetheart. We release to you that the whole month of June would be justice for all. So when God start, look at this, when God start using those that dislike you, spoke different about you, you understand, even your own family members can do you some kind of doggish ways. But when it start getting that close, that's because, not that he's saving the best for last, or not that you're next, but that this part of that rest. And this is going to give you peace. Peace of mind, peace of spirit, peace of soul, in your soul. You understand? That I'm doing right by you. And the ones that you least expect to bless you, that's the one I'm stirring up to bless you because of the R-E-S-T. And so right there is where we get up out of here. Because if you can see God bless the ones that just done you dirty and nasty and all, you gotta count it up as joy, as knowing, oh, I'm this close, Lord. You mean to tell me I'm this close? Because when God bless you, it's on a whole nother level. It's on a whole other level. All right? But God's going to bless you because your heart is right. You understand? You have a clean hands and a pure heart. All right? So that being said, let's get over here. 612 is with us, part 4. I have something powerful. I'm going to put it over there on that Mother Doris Authentic page. I would have loaded it up earlier, as early as around, I say close to the 4 o'clock hour. Had that 400 looking at us, but it started much earlier. Out of my sleep, the Lord kind of like began to speak these words and spoke powerful words through the Spirit. And you know how you can be so tired. Even MD can be so tired. And didn't want to get up and write it down, not even, text it to myself in the dark. So we laid right there. And the next thing I know, I'm getting over there. Next thing your servant know, it's 2:35 a.m. in the morning. 2:35 a.m. in the morning, and trouble hits the outside of the homeland where the blessed of promise, that's over his servant's shoulder, above his servant's head, is resting. But the Lord is blessed still. Because the servant wasn't going to get up. I'm honestly going to tell you, wasn't going to get up. We literally went and rest. I believe it wasn't even 6 o'clock. I text my sons, good night. That's how busy it was the other day. Good night. And made it up in our mind. We stopped by a nice, beautiful place, and we was ready to go. We were positioned to go to sleep at 6. It couldn't even been past 6 o'clock. It was still light outside. Text all of them, and they was, good night, Mom, good night, good night. Love, good night. And at I'm telling you, 2:35 a.m., we clocked it, 2:35 a.m., trouble hit the homeland out there. Could hear this female, and her voice was troubling. I was like, oh, Lord, not here we go again, you done moved there. Where is this coming from? So MD tried to lay right there and play back everything that we was hearing in the spirit earlier, and all, just keep it fresh in our spirit. So when we did get up in the morning, we would, write it all down and everything. No, you're going to get up right now. So all of a sudden, it's troublesome. We could hear the trouble in the voice of this female. And so we got up and walked around and looked and see. Next thing you know, we could see the law enforcement lining up. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. We believed that was happening so we could get up, remember what the Lord was saying. And of course, it took us a good little piece of a text to text it and write it all down, but we did. And as we're doing this and that's going on there, you wouldn't believe what would happen. While trouble, it was trouble. And right now, we're going to say it, and hopefully mothers and fathers, because this is the month of June, so fathers, we spent the whole 31 days, shy of maybe 8 days, and we did a special Mother's Day presentation right on that Mother Doris Authentic page. We'll link it here. And we dedicated that to the mothers. And we said that this month we would do something different, but we still would show our appreciation for the fathers. And so right now, fathers, if you can hear me, what was so troubling about that really got in the ear of his servant to literally make us get up out of sleep is to hear this female just troubled. And somehow what had happened was, we're talking young boys. They couldn't have, if any of them out there was 16, I would have scratched my head. That's how young they were. And they were literally being put outdoors. And there was about 5 of them that was standing around. They had a little backpack and everything. And they were all outdoors, and you could hear the female who was troubled. And she kept saying, call your dad, call your real father. That's what she said, call your real father and tell him to come pick you up. We're talking now, it's not 2:35, it's now 3:35. And she's out there, and she's yelling at the law enforcement and everything, and sharing what had happened. And of course, MD heard everything because it was just that loud. And by now, we are drawn to the window to see these 5 young. If you, like I said, if you could have found a 16-year-old in there, we would be scratching our head. And yet to hear what they were doing that brought this female to that type of trouble in her voice. To the point that right now, we're going to put it right here in this 612. Of course, we have a little bit more. We're going to talk about that 612, but you're going to see why 612 is 612. But we're going to put it right here, the month of June, on the 12th day, for fathers to go after your sons, look for your sons, find your sons, communicate with your sons before it's too late. And she said to him in a shouting voice, call your father. Call your real father and tell him to come pick you up. And honestly, his servant was so glad that he could do that. And that was his option out. All 5 of them, instead of being hauled off into these police cars that was lined up, looked like they wanted to collect every last one of them. And so you know that's the heart of his servant for the male, for the son, for the man, for the husband, and even the father. Reach out to these young men. Reach out to them in a way that they can feel that love and all. Because they really, when we look at the generation behind his servant generation, which is not thy seed, but thy seed, they really are going to need some serious help. Now you got to see his servant. I'm closing now. His servant, thy seed, basically at a young age, their father was there. But then at a very young age, the only thing that was there in their life was the mother. But when you look now at thy seed, we have a difficult with connecting the two that brought them in the earth. And we don't see co-parenting strong. And so the child is having to raise itself, he or she, by themselves. And some of y'all are like, I don't believe that. You go to some areas, these little babies, I'm talking about little babies, not even teenagers, are literally raising themselves. And then you see some of them, as little as they are, trying to raise a little brother or a little sister and all, and you can't find a parent, a mother or a father in their life. Those are the times that we're coming up on. And we're hoping that even his servant can play a great role in making a difference. So that being said, fathers, because this is that month that's all about you. And we don't just choose to take one day, we get it all. We take the whole month for you. and say, look for your children, find your children, reach out to your children before it's too late. All right? That being said, let's go ahead and drop that net because we well past. I'm sure we've been here more than an hour. We didn't even play and stay that long. But here comes the live net. And we cast it on the right side. This is that St. John 21:6. All the information will be provided because we're in the gathering of the nation of I am. It's that 222 time. All right, that being said, I know you're going to help me read it. We'll stand up off of it so we can read it together, what this means. And then, of course, we'll keep linking all of the 612 to it, but this one right here, we won't say it won't be another part to it, but it looks like this might be the final point because we've reached 612. And when we first started talking about 612, we didn't know this would all be a part of that. But the whole light of that, for those that don't know, it comes out of a room warmer that's found in 1 Timothy 6:12. This has brought about all of this. All right? So that being said, let's close with this. All right? Isaiah 60:12 for those that are not in covenant, but for those that are, it is Bob 6 and Bob 12. Here we go. The multitude of Campbell shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian, and Ephah, some say Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. Bob 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, there's the promise. Those nations, with the S, shall be utterly wasted. Now that right there is that reading for June the 12th of 2022. That being said, I'm reading something, hopefully. Yeah, this is all about authority. All right, that being said, that's it for us today. And all. Make sure we're not leaving anything out. There's a lot here, but we won't tap into it. And all, but we'll come. We have a whole month. And hopefully you'll take this. And we will say this, hopefully you'll take what we said today and as you're going or you're gonna get over the hump, all right? So we're halfway there. And the rest, I know you may not want to hear it, no matter what it looked like. The rest is easy, all right? All right. 2 words, you know how we go out, and they are Lord Light.